Hi, Jeff Simon here for SocialFlight, and today I've got a really cool video here teaching you about spinners and polishing and fixing things when it comes to gouges and scratches and all sorts of things. And I'm here with Peter McClellan of Michelin Metal Finishing. How you doing, Peter?
Good. How are you doing today?
Peter, this isn't the first time that we've spent time together.
No, sir.
So I'm going to tell you guys a secret right now. Here is the biggest, most common way that spinners get messed up with scratches, marks, etc. And the answer is when they're off the plane. That's what happens. Usually when they're on the plane, they're safe.
Yeah.
When they're off the plane, they're not. And one of the most common things that people will do, and happened in this case, is a spinner will come off and someone will put it down on a rough surface, or they won't look enough, or worse, they'll put it down on maybe a piece of cardboard.
You can see the marks here from the cardboard.
Exactly. So you've got cardboard, and then in this case, they went inside to clean it out. It had grease and oil on the inside, and they were rotating it on cardboard, and they didn't realize they were destroying the look of the outside of it because it's super, super soft. So we're going to teach you some things today, and I'll start by saying that if you do have something that's pretty messed up like this, the easiest solution is to go to a professional like Peter here at Michelin. You can look him up, Michelin Metal Finishing in Massachusetts, in the Boston area, but I'm sure that people ship you stuff also. But we're gonna learn two things. One, how to handle something that's pretty marked up, and you can see this one here. I don't know if it'll really show up on camera, but it's got quite a few marks in there. And then I'm gonna show you something else. It's this one. This one's the Hartzell one, and this one has, I guess it's basically etching that
from your acid from your
the
hands.
acids from your hands. You have to be really careful about using it. We can see
You can see fingerprints.
See the actual fingerprint, and that actually gets engraved.
Actually, yeah, it etches right into the product.
Okay, so this I'm hoping would be a more minor thing, but that one is where we've got some really scratches that you can feel with your fingernails. So we're going to go be in a loud environment, but what are some tips, Peter, that you give people for doing stuff? You mentioned the product, first of all.
So if you're just, on this one here, if you're just doing a maintenance program where it's just a little wear and tear, we use Cape Cod metal polishing, the metal polish right out of Dennis, Mass.
Okay.
His father's a long time polisher, and they started selling polishing products about 40 years ago.
Cape Cod metal polish.
Cape Cod metal polish, it's perfect.
Okay.
It's not too aggressive, so it's great to keep maintenance. Now on this, you couldn't use it on it because it needs more than that. It needs more of a pumice.
And one of the things I've noticed here, then this is really important when you talk about products, you're using very professional products. You've got these big bars of material, and then you know where to go. So one of the things you told me is you always want to test it with the least aggressive thing.
Right.
See if you can solve your problem.
Right. I mean, when we do spinners, obviously, some people like to sand and sand and sand. You got to be careful for the integrity of the material. I mean, this has a purpose on a plane. It can't have failure, so you got to be careful on removal. If they're really bad and pitted from rocks and stones, most people just buy new ones. They don't want to play around with that. But what we do, if we have to sand it, we go as fine as possible, 600-800.
Okay.
That's as fine. We don't go coarse because you're moving too much material. But with the commercial polishing compounds and the density of our buffs, we can most likely polish it without sanding it, which is better for all of us.
Okay. So basically, if you have to go down, you don't want to go down anywhere worse than maybe like start 1200, 800.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need to go really aggressive. If you have to go that bad, the piece is probably not even good anymore.
Right. Okay.
And
then you just step like
you step it up. But with commercial, it depends what kind of equipment you use. Obviously, my stuff, I have really big buffs, really fast. I can cut out at 200 grit.
Wow.
Where a home guy can't do that because he doesn't have the right compound, the right density buffs, the right speed.
So try it at, I guess, at the least thing, but then just, you want a wet sand, you want to go at the least, which is like 1200 max at home.
Anytime that you are sanding aluminum, you must lubricate it, whether you use water, you use WD-40, use a polishing grease so that you don't drag the aluminum. A lot of people think that, we'll just sand it and go buff it. Yeah, but you don't realize how you pull the aluminum because it's so
like
soft.
Galling. It's almost like when you
but you can't really see until you go to buff it that you ruined it.
Yeah.
That's just a little tip, something. Like I said, I work with my father every day. He's 82 years old.
All right, well, we'll get to work on these.
right.
You get to see the before and the after.
All right, buddy, we'll get
And,
this going.
I'll show you what this looks like, but it's remarkable how quick. See you in a minute for the before and after.
Make sure you put it on even.
So you just put a little animal fat on there. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Just WD-40 or...
Still those scratches. So that scratch right there,
Yep.
going right across.
What grit are you using right now?
I'm using 600 because it's really not bad.
And is 600 easy to polish all the way back out?
Yeah, when you got commercial equipment, I could mirror finish at 220. But I just want to go.
600 would scare the hell out of me if I were touching it myself.
Oh yeah, no, it will buff it. See, we never go after the pitting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it'll keep going.
we don't do. Yeah,
No.
you'll defeat the purpose. You'll ruin a pot. See the orange peel?
Yeah.
You know, we can get all that off. You know, since this isn't so bad, you really don't need to change the paper a lot. It's really not that bad. I could have done it without sanding.
Such a great demo for people, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I always find it's also doing a really nice job cleaning up a little bit.
Yeah.
Where the screws go.
Yeah.
It looks good. I can already see what it's doing.
I always keep putting on grease. See how it's fully covered?
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, it clogs the belt. It does. There's a reason why you want it to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's so smooth.
Can you tell from experience, even though it's all getting matted like that, you can tell where you need to work?
Well, you just look at it. You could, like, for instance, see the irregulars?
Yeah. Are those pits?
Yeah, that's highs and lows and voids, and you always have to polish flat. Because if you don't polish flat, it's going to show everything you did. 600 grit, we use Clean Score. I'm direct with them. Good company, keep stuff in stock. Very well priced.
So do you go this way also?
It doesn't really matter.
You don't worry about getting lines?
It's all over. That looks like a line, it's not. You know what I mean? When you do it flat and you got lubricant on it, you're good.
So this would be the stage generally as a novice, as someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
That's the first.
That I'd be scared.
That's the first.
This is when it looks.
You just gotta be. You gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving your tool.
Yep.
Kind of see where it's bad, and you know what you can and can't get out. You know, some people try to get all that out of there. Fine. We don't. You got to be careful. You got to understand where this is going. This is Tripoli. And they call
Tripoli?
it Tripoli, yeah. It's for cutting aluminum. But over the years, my father's been he's been doing this for 65 years. He's developed the combination of the right amount of grease in there. A lot of people do it different. There's no really right or wrong way. But when you're commercial polish and you want to do stuff really fast, you want to cut it really fast, and you need the right amount of lubricant. So this has some of that in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Some of the animal fat.
Yeah. That way there, it flows. Because when you buff, you can burn too. There's all different types of ways and methods, and there's no really, you know, I may like it this way, another polisher may like it another way, which is fine, and they get the same results. And
But Tripoli, interesting.
yeah. You can go on Amazon and these little buffing kits. They all have that in a buffing kit. They're pretty decent. It'll get you where you need to go.
When you do sections like this, do you have to worry about the blend between the areas?
Yeah. As you see, as I'm buffing,
Yeah.
I'm lifting the tension up. But I'll have to blend that off. Well, what I'm going to end up doing is buff the whole thing one way.
Yeah. So how young were you learning this from your dad?
I started when I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yeah. My father would bring me in the weekends, and I've been here full time since 1984. Because over time is when you're coloring off some of the black there, it gets back on there, and it won't give you the brightness that you need. So then you got to go to.
So can I see that tool again a little closer? So that's something people should be doing too.
There's a rake. Yeah, always clean your wheels. You could use anything, a rake, anything sharp to clean it. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
What's the flour you were talking about using?
So it keeps your gloves clean.
Ah,
It gets rid of your. It gets rid of
Is it actually flour?
No, it's collagen.
Beautiful.
These are actually brighter than when you get them new.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a big color difference. That looks gorgeous, right? So we got that made perfect.
Just color this
take
one
care
up.
of a little one. So what do you do when this just needs
I'm just
lighting?
coloring it
Okay,
straight there.
great.
You see the color difference?
Yeah, so this is called coloring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard probably with a camera to see
Oh
that.
no, it's actually really
Yeah.
amazing. You can see
See
here
the,
where it's
the
dull,
potting line.
and then there where it's incredibly polished.
So this is the one that you can hit with Cape Cod the way it was and get it almost like this.
And you use the Cape Cod material and, that'll color it itself.
I'll show you what it looks like. Look at the palm print. See how it etched it in there? See it?
Yeah. right, Peter, that's amazing. The difference is absolutely spectacular. I'm amazed at how much damage oils from someone's hand does.
I showed it to you.
Yeah,
You
when we were
watched me
working on that
clearly
one,
buff it.
yeah, and it was still there. So it took like a lot of buffing. It
etches into your acid etches right into your armor.
So gloves, like don't get marks on your spinner just from carelessness by letting people push. You should never push on a spinner to begin with, but don't do that.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah. Well, Peter, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So,
anytime.
McClellan Metal Finishing. If they need to reach you, what's your phone number?
781-891-5462.
781-891-5462. But look them up.
McClellanMetalFinishing.com.
McClellanMetalFinishing.com. For SocialFlight, I'm Jeff Simon. Blue skies. Thank you.